Hey gang, so we got the new roadmap roundup. Let's go ahead and get into it because we got a few other things to talk about today because they also dropped the monthly report and we got a new patch inbound and Alien Week, although that's going to be another post. So you guys can wait for that vid. I'm still downloading some B-roll for that one and some background vids. Okay, so notable changes, June 4th, 2025, release view 4.2, irradiated Apex Valacar. So I'm sure you've probably seen videos of this thing out there right now. On the PTU, this thing is enormous and very terrifying. Adding the irradiated Apex Valacar, the players can find near the research facility while doing the Stormbreaker sandbox activity. This was previously listed under the new creatures card. So the several new creatures that we're getting are just variants of the Valacar and the Copion. I did kind of have high hopes that we might be getting the Stormwall or the I forget what it's called, a Tarok or a Boreal Stalker or the Pyro Crab or the Whip Crab, I think is what they're calling it, but no luck. It's variations on the Valacar, which are pretty cool. So one thing I wanted to say real quick before I dive in is that the sandbox activities, one of the things that I was saying when they dropped the whole Hathor mining thing was my hope was that it wasn't an event, that they would keep it live as kind of like a, almost like a dungeon that you could do as a player or a group of players, that you could kind of group up in an MMO with other players that you're either friends with or not friends with or against other players and run the whole set of this activity and then get the reward of being able to jump down that cave and mine things. And it didn't look like that was the direction they're going. Now it seems like it is. So you will always be able to run that. Like years from now, you'll be able to fire off the big Hathor laser and mine the stuff that's down in that cave. And it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing with Stormbreaker here too. So then we're just going to go on. So they've got the adult Valacar and the juvenile Valacar, both also irradiated. And then they have an irradiated Copion. I have not had a chance to play in the PTU yet. I've been doing a lot of things in the PU, just banging out missions there, trying to build up some money, trying to buy attritions, which unfortunately, this is your friendly reminder that before the new patch drops, pull all the guns and the components off your ship and put them into local inventory, just because otherwise you'll lose them. And even if you do that, you'll probably lose like 50 to 75% of them. Anyway, new hairstyles. Adding 4 additional hairstyles. I actually haven't looked at those either. I'll have to look at that when it drops. Pretty happy with the hairstyle I got right now in the game, but what do you know? Radiation. Implementing dangerous radiation zones in specific locations, forcing players to adapt with specialized gear and strategic navigation. Now, this is something right now it's going to be in specific locations. I have a feeling this will be something that Pyro is supposed to be a flare star, so it'll actually occasionally explode and shoot out big flares. I wouldn't be shocked if a bunch of radiation came with those flares. I also wouldn't be shocked if radiation also plays a part in engineering gameplay. Like when something goes wrong on your ship, not only can things catch on fire, but other things might go nuclear. You might get irradiated. ASD Research Facility, strategically located on Pyro 1, associated science and development facilities that provided essential infrastructure and sandbox gameplay opportunities for planetary operations. ASD data center. Strategically placed on Pyro 4, Associated Science and Development data centers are providing key infrastructure and sandbox gameplay for opportunities for planetary operations. Stormbreaker sandbox activity. Weird. It's almost like they just mentioned sandbox activities. Adding the Stormbreaker sandbox activity, utilizing new gameplay mechanics to tell new stories in the verse. And the story that they're going to be telling here, now they're going to be going back to the, I think they called it their A-line story, like or their B-line story. So the B-line story is rejuvenation is failing. And I actually found out when I was going to Mary Pure of Heart in Lorville, if you're standing around in the waiting room, the lobby of the hospital in either of the places, there's people coming up and talking about rejuvenation failing. So good job, CIG. It's not quite as cool as seeing stacks of body bags around, but it's a nice touch. Just kind of pulls you in and sort of lets you know that something is going on that's different from the norm. But anyway, yeah, this one is going to go back to the B storyline, which is rejuvenation failing. And again, the A storyline is the sort of criminals in Pyro, like Xenothreat invading Pyro, and then people from Stanton going over to Pyro to put a stop to them, and then just kind of the involvement of the gangs there. Argo Atlas ICT. Adding the Atlas ICT, the Atlas Geo ICT, versatile new combat armor suits new combat suits developed for upcoming challenges, ready to prove their value in an upcoming new sandbox activity. Which is interesting that they're saying that, because is it actually this Stormbreaker, or is it a future activity that they haven't implemented yet? Maybe both. They are both equipped with dual weapons. The Geo ICT version keeps its backpack for jumping ability with adjusted gear slots to fit FPS weapons and gadgets. So at this point, my question would be, why would you get the normal version when you could get a jump jet version that's modular kind of, or can fit other things? I would assume either the standard version has greater firing capacity, or the Geo version just costs more. That would be my guess. But yeah, pretty cool. Looks a little goofy. It's not the Titan suit. I don't think. I seriously doubt it's the Titan suit, but until we get the Titan suit, pretty cool. Wicklow special ships, adding multiple new ships to the vehicles of the ever-expanding Wicklow's Emporium. Mirai Guardian QI, Anvil Mark II Super Hornet, Misk Fortune, Apoa Nox, Mirai Pulse, so a lot of bikes here. Ursa Medevac. These ships and vehicles can be unlocked by bringing the NPC Wicklow a number of favors in exchange for rewards. I think right now the way that you can get favors is with scripts. The Ace Pilot helmets and Jackalite, I believe, is how you get favors right now. Volt Laser Shotgun Prism, adding a cutting-edge energy shotgun that ramps up its pellet spreads with heat, delivering brutal close range bursts powered by Volt. Volt weapons are pretty cool. I still favor like P8s and Damacos, but these are cool. Like, if I had to take a Volt weapon, I wouldn't be upset. Sterling exploration suit. So again, if you've been watching the vids with people running Stormbreaker and the PTU, these are just the radiation proof suits, the sort of big ones with the big visor, kind of silvery looking, very thick. Introducing the Sterling exploration suit, a heavy utility armor built to withstand extreme radiation, enabling safe traversal through the most hazardous zones. Obviously important for this event. Dynamic rain, adding dynamic rain in specific locations as a first step towards Genesis dynamic weather, which is huge and very cool. Aegis Idris P, adding the Idris Peacekeeper, a ship that secured our past and continued to define our future. The steadfast tactical civilian class incarnation of the UEEN Darling is available to fly for the first time. And I think that one trades cargo space where the other ones have the modular torpedoes or railgun or beam weapon. Greycat MP no, that's it. That's the one that we got. This car's been set to release. Greycat MTC, again, that's the one that I think is kind of a good tweener between the Ursa and the Cyclone. It's a nice little one right in between those two. Mirai Guardian MX, again, this one's been released. Basically trades the size 5s for 4 size 3s, I think. Might be 4 size 4s. I think it's 4 size 3s. Anyway, the MX is supposed to punch down, whereas the standard one punches up. So just one way to think about it. If you're fighting littler guys or lighter fighters, probably go with the MX. If you're regularly engaging heavier ships, probably the standard version is the way to go. Starlancer TAC, again, was released. Asgard, again, was released. So that is it for 4.2. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about this. This is just the patch notes for the latest PTU patch that they released. I think around noon or so Pacific Standard Time, but anyway, this is coming really quick. So I would suggest, yeah, I mean, it might be tomorrow. They seem to be doing a lot of drops on Thursday just so that they have Friday to kind of fix the most egregious bugs, most game crashing bugs. They are getting better. Like the latest patch for the last few days has been really good, so obviously they're going to drop a new patch and break everything. But anyway, it's coming quick, so I would recommend, if you've got anything sitting in a hopper like mining, refining, that kind of thing, weapons on your ships, components on your ships, go ahead and pull them, get them done, sell off cargo, do whatever you got to do, because this drop is imminent. This is starting to look like they're stress testing, and usually they do that when they're about to drop the thing. So just as a heads up. So let's go ahead and look at the subscriber promotions, and I'm going to hold off on the monthly report. I'm going to do that one as its own thing, just because I kind of like to go into more detail, and I don't want this particular vid to be 40 minutes long, because then almost no one watches them and I waste both my time and your time. They've got kind of a cool one. They've got this bomber jacket, which, sure, whatever, but the cool thing is they've got this little diorama of an Apex Valacar that's irradiated, which these are the kinds of things that I actually am gonna have in my Banu Merchantman when they drop it in 50 years. Anyway, yeah, so you can, if you have the basic subscriber, you get the jacket. If you get the upper level, the Centurion, I think it is, you get the diorama, which I think you get both, or you could pay money and get both, which I think the only reason that you do that is if you were going to give it to a friend. Vehicles of the month, Cutlass Steel, these are just the ones that they got for sale. Valkyrie, of course, that's it. So they're not, I don't think they're on sale. Let's take a look. So the Cutlass Steel, which people have been telling me it's not as much of a joke as it used to be. They upped its hit points considerably. It's got 12-month insurance, which, sure, it's not great, but yeah, that's for the Centurion subscribers. And then the Imperator, that's right, Centurion is basic, Imperator is upper. You can get access to both of them with 2-year insurance. And gang, that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. What are your strategies for when a new patch drops? Because I think we all kind of have our own little superstitions about what to do. They almost never work, but I mean, we got them. And I'm looking forward to the day when I forget why we even did it, because it works every time and everything carries forward. And I don't think we're too far from that. In theory, this is the patch where that starts, at least with components and weapons, but I don't know. We'll find out. So until then, I've got a vid coming up on the monthly report and a vid coming up on Alien Week. So keep an eye out for those. Catch you next time.